And let's be honest, most of these kids are not fully maturing.
I don't think they're going to mature to this at any point.
But this is what I'm saying, right? I take it back to what I said earlier. When we were younger, we understood that to be an adult was to work more, was to have more responsibility, and was to have less fun. But let's be honest. And yes, I will take a page out of your book. When these kids look at social media, the 40, 50-year-old men are in the club popping bottles 7 days a week. So the truth is, these young boys, their idea of maturity is to now have the means to have fun 7 days a week. But Gen Z is also the first generation in a long time that their IQ is lower than their parents.
And they feel like what they're doing is the best thing. Because my daughter was talking about it like, yeah, I think for myself. We're happy that we think for ourselves, and we don't follow anybody, and we do what we want. And I'm just like,
it's
what?
Right, we did.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because I'll tell you the difference between us and them, right? We still had a thirst for knowledge of things that were outside of our realm. Gen Z does not have any desire to learn anything that doesn't have anything to do with them or their era. It's the truth. You can ask them.
I can see that. My family.
I'm not trying to combat that. I'm just saying maybe with different, because for example, my sister, you have your daughter does music. Her music is amazing. Like she seems very intelligent. Like
she's very talented.
My sister is always exploring. My sister reads more than I ever did in my life. My sister is always curious about anything. Like it's crazy to me how more thirsty
like she wants to learn
is outside. Like they're trying to do things that we didn't have access to a lot of things. So now they're trying to do camera equipment. They're trying to become things that we never thought we could even become. We thought we was just gonna go to school, get a little degree, maybe play a little sport. But now they're trying to do a plethora of things that we never even imagined doing. So I feel as though their thirst for knowledge is coming from, again, I hate to keep saying this word, but social media. They're seeing a bunch of people trying new things, doing new things, becoming successful in many different categories. And it's making them be like, I'm going to get my life together. And I'm going to be like, I remember I used to say I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. Didn't happen. But I feel as though a lot of younger people have that opportunity more than we did, because they have all of this knowledge that we didn't, all of this information that we didn't have.
This is also the generation where you can't send someone a paragraph, or you can't comment a paragraph
because they won't read it.
I'm not reading.
They don't have the attention
span. They don't read. The truth is,
that's a fact.
They don't have the attention, and they don't read. That is the honest to God truth. This is the microwave era. Yes, they all want to be rich,
and they all abbreviate everything.
Rap, social media.
They abbreviate everything. All the text is abbreviations. All the text is abbreviations. Both my daughters do it, and I'll be like, "What does this even mean?" Like,
I'm like, what? So I'm so glad that I actually am a great. I'm a great big sister.
Yeah. No, be proud of your sister.
Because my sister has been under my wing forever, and she always says to me like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But even when she's in her relationships, I'm that girl. So even when she's in her relationships, my sister is always very emotional. She's a Pisces like you. Like
Pisces.
And I'm not even supposed to say that. Lord forgive me. But she's a very emotional feeling individual. And I thought that's what I thought that's what the youth was. Like my sister made me feel the complete opposite of what
she's just a Pisces.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But like I don't know. I didn't get that from her. I just saw someone who like.
Do you think any of that, any of your influence is affecting your daughter? Meaning, like, I'm sure you told your daughter not to have children young, right?
Yes. Which, she's 19, so she hasn't had a baby yet.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so she understands.
For sure. I had my daughter when I was 16, so.
Well, I'm pretty sure we can go ahead and figure out why a lot of your kids today have a low IQ. Well, because look at their parents, right? Look at the mothers who are raising the children. I would assume that all of these kids who have low IQs are coming from your single parent household. What am I basing that off of? Well, being that most of your kids are born out of wedlock. Most of your rapists, murderers come from your single parent household raised by a woman. I could just only assume that your kids who have low IQs are going to also be raised by your women and your women who are on this very panel. But of course, leave it up to them. They will say that's false. They will say that's a lie, this, that, and the third. But I promise you that girl, Jay, I think that might be her name, the one that's sitting right next to the guy that's always coming out here saying some of the most egregious things. When you look at her, she will raise a Pookie and Ray Ray. Let's just give it a bean. She will either raise a super simp or a Pookie and Ray Ray. Period. Ain't no in between. She ain't gonna raise no man.
And who's that? Oh, it's Mr. MVP, Simp!
And here's the thing, right? This guy is on point about how a lot of your guys are looking at, let's just keep it real, how they looking at life today, where when they want to acquire a woman, they feel like they have to make a lot of money, which in general, you still have to make a lot of money just to even survive, right? But when you're talking about, if you're talking about surviving with a spouse, with your wife, dude, and she's making some pretty good money like all of these women claim to be doing, then it really shouldn't be that hard to live. A lot of your women, your average woman will look at your average man and say, nah, that's not it. But yet you look in the past when marriage rates were high and your women were the happiest, right? They sat here and lived under the man's means. So whatever the man could bring home, that's what they lived with. That's what they freaking lived with. You can go out, have the women work as well and still come home, take care of the family, take care of the kids and everything, but they don't want to do that, right? They do not want to do that. Now your women today want to go out here and go be career driven, go get into a career that they're not going to care about once they hit their late 30s, their early 40s. They want to constantly travel, and guys are like, man, listen, if we are told as men, right? Because this is truthfully told to men. We try to tell it to women, but women live in their own la la land, right? But when you tell men are told you want to sacrifice your early 20s, right? Even your late 20s, so you can have everything that you want in your 30s and so on and so forth. Establish yourself in the 20s.
Most of the shit that people think they're giving up in their 20s does not fucking matter. They will not look back at their 30s and go, man, I wish I would have partied more. Man, I wish I would have spent more time chasing tail. That isn't it. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Especially if you get into your 30s and you're in debt, no further in your career, you don't have a direction in your life, you don't look back and cherish those moments. You may actually end up regretting those moments. I know lots of people who got to work in their 20s, who get in their 30s, and their friends go, fuck, I want that. No, you don't. Oh yeah, you may want the fruit of that. You may want to have now, but if you wanted this, you would have had a different life. You would have chose different decisions. And that's the problem. Most people are chasing the fruit of success, not the actual work. They look at people's lives that are successful and they go, I want that. Yeah, fuck yeah, you do. But are you willing to put in the work? Not many.
Especially your late 20s. And that's what men are doing. But when you look at your women, they just want to travel. They want to do this. They want to do that. So how can you expect a man who's sitting over here trying to work his way up within companies? Because now companies are really starting to push women. So they're really discriminating against men, truth be told, right? A lot of your men are falling victim to women being into the workforce because they're not hiring women with merit and morals, right? Who actually are qualified for the job. They're just hiring women who may be qualified on paper, but because they just have a split between their leg, hey, well, listen, we just need you to come on in, right? You can tell she doesn't even exude manager qualities. But hey, this is the society that we're living in now. But a lot of women, you have to get on their level now to be able to love them and be able to keep them happy. I mean, here's a great example. Here's a great story, actually, where one of my homegirls, she was talking about one of her friends who is in a relationship. Now, mind you, she only has one body, so this woman isn't promiscuous. This woman doesn't sit over here and throw her coos all over the place, and she got a man, right? Supposedly, I guess he's the one who took her virginity, but she is constantly traveling, right? Constantly traveling. We're the same age. I mean, she has a pretty decent job, so it's just like, okay, but why wouldn't you want to save? You make a lot, you make enough money to where you can truly be well off, but you want to constantly travel. And she's saying, yeah, she just wants to, she wants to live that lavish lifestyle. Why? And she's dealing with a guy who is working day in and day out. He doesn't have the opportunity to go out and go travel. So I was just like, bro, and he just allowing that to happen. Well, that's what he wants. He's cool with it. And I'm just like, it ain't gonna last. But at the end of the day, if he's cool with it, then hey, that's him, right? That is him. But they say that he had to get on her level, had to get on her standards. So I was like, you know what, hey, it is what it is, but personally it couldn't be me. Personally it cannot be me, not as no grown man, I'm sorry.
Well, 22, no kids
off the radar. So
Absolutely.
we know that boys create that.
Yeah.
So let's experience everything first and live our life.
Yes,
first.
for sure. So I'm not knocking it, right? Because it is my child and I want her to not be boy crazy or not fall into that like I did, at such a young age. Because since I was like 12, I was boy crazy and I was always like in a relationship. So I appreciate that she's the complete opposite of me. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, like, is that going to continue to even when she gets older. Like, cause she's really like, she's told me like, I'm not sure if I ever want to have kids, you know, like, and I'm like, what? Wait, hold up. Like, hold up, wait. No, I want grandbabies.
But you know what? But
you know, to have kids.
But in her case,
and she's like, Mom, you did a lot by yourself. I seen how expensive it is to have kids. Like,
in her case, what if it isn't about it being the new normal? What if that's just her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or they might be smarter.
My daughter's 22. She doesn't have any children. Thank the Lord. I think she wants kids. I think eventually. But look.
Again,
I think it's very important for us to communicate with our children, right?
Yes.
And I think there doesn't need to be a reason, right? I'll give you a perfect example. So when me and my daughter's mother broke up, my daughter saw me in one relationship up until she was 9, right? And when me and this young lady broke up, my daughter cried, right? And I took the time to sit my daughter down, and I was like, hey, I need to speak to you, right? And I said, look, I understand that you saw me and your mother get together. You watched us break up. You saw me and this young lady get together, and now you're watching us break up. I need you to understand that this isn't normal. This isn't what it's supposed to be, right? You're supposed to meet someone, fall in love, get married, and spend the rest of your life together. I don't want you to watch my life and to think that this is what it's supposed to be. This is just what's happening by circumstance.
Facts.
But this isn't what you should be striving for. This isn't what you should think is normal. Right. And I think a lot of times we're not aware enough to take the time to realize our kids are always watching us.
They are.
They are
kids
always.
Are sponges, but don't you think that that's like a little bit of a fairy tale?
Yeah,
No.
it is.
No, it's not because on the same hand, you have to understand that I give my daughter the balance of it all. Right. Just like I tell my daughter, I say, hey, I need you to understand that I don't want to set you up for failure. Right? I don't want you to go out into the world thinking every man is going to be like me. I always have your best interest at heart. Yeah. The truth is, most men may not have your best interest at heart, right? So you need to guard yourself. But when you do run into the man that does love you the way that I do, I need you to respect and love him the way you love and respect me.
Something? But that always isn't a smooth sailing experience as well. Okay. I mean, anytime you ask someone who's married, like, it's not just find someone you love, get married, live happily ever after.
But my thing is this: just because
just
because the world is going crazy, does that mean I need to start calling crazy sane?
No, but it's just the fact that
like that's my question. Yes, the world is changing, but when that change isn't for the better, you don't have to change with it. I am going to be the way that I am until the day I die. I don't care how the world changes because I know what's right, and I know. And let me not use right and wrong. Let me not use right. I know what
is right for you.
I know what my belief system is. Let's just leave it that way. It's not about right and wrong.
Yeah, because everybody has different beliefs.
It's not about right and wrong, but I think a lot of times we're creating the environment that isn't conducive to the goal, and then saying that the goal just is never going to happen when we are creating the environment that isn't conducive for it to thrive.
But how
That's true.
Is it to be, for example, you give this advice to your child, but how difficult was it to even be that for yourself?
That's life.
That's what I just said.
And this is
not even reality.
No, it isn't. No, it is reality.
Yeah, but you naturally always want better for your child.
Absolutely. But you can't make them like, it's kind of like feeling like a failure when you don't. You don't make that happen for yourself. Sometimes it's like a lot of people think that they're going to have a successful career if they get their degree, or if they're gonna be married by a certain time, or they're gonna have certain kids, and then guess what? You need in vitro.
Let me just say one thing.
There's always something in life. It's just not. But my
normal.
Question. Life be lifing.
But that's my question.
There's nobody. Any of us know.
What is with the people of today of always wanting to skip the hard part?
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, because guess what? Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's not going to come easy.
It's going to be work.
Yes, in order to get love and to end up with someone for the rest of your life. Yes, there's going to be a million ups and downs. Yes, there's going to be struggles.
We have a
but that's life.
I know, but I'm having a misunderstanding.
So what it is there's a saying, that life humbles men and time humbles women.
So let's go ahead and read these comments. Somebody says, how do y'all expect younger generations to know these things if y'all don't teach them? Mainly talking about your women. Then he goes on to say, the biggest issue is we rag too much on younger generations instead of embracing and educating them. What we're witnessing now is what happens when children are raised on iPads and video games. And I'll finish up your sentence for you, brother. And raised by mothers, raised by women. I'm sorry, but we gotta fill that in, brother. Then somebody else says, why do women believe in astrology like they do? I'm Pisces and I don't show emotion. And somebody else says, I can tell some of y'all are not in your 40s. We cannot and should not go into any situation / circumstance with the mindset that I am going to lose. You start how you finish. Then somebody else says, my sister, my daughter, what the F is this? Are we in family circle? Then somebody else says, why would we just downplay education, degrees, and sports? Shaking my head. Well, the reason you would want to downplay education now is because education it's a scam, right? College, it's a scam. High school, it's a scam, right? I mean, high school, but college for sure, it's a scam. Then somebody else says the amount of time these women cut off the guy in the middle is crazy. You could see he was trying to hold his composure. Well, I mean, welcome to your sisterhood. This is your women today. When you are sitting here making a great point and they know they can't refute it, they will just try to cut you off. That's just how women are, proving the stereotypes to be true. Then somebody else says these new kids think everything started with them. When it comes to sports and music, for an example, they don't know or care to know the history of those things they like. My generation value the history of the things they like. I'm in my 40s. So, I mean, guys, man, listen, yeah, we already know why a lot of your kids are bad today. I mean, you even look at, a lot of your teachers. A lot of your teachers don't even want to teach anymore. A lot of your teachers don't want to teach anymore because so many kids are disrespectful to the teachers, and the teachers are like, it's because it starts at home. Like, these kids are bringing their piss poor behavior to the school, and these parents are just leaving it up to the teachers that they handle these kids, and this is where you're starting to see a bunch of videos, man, of kids putting hands on teachers, and this is like, bro, like, what are we doing, right? What are we doing? But you gotta blame the parents, bro. Mainly the mothers, because they are the main ones who are over here raising these little beasts, right? But yeah, they want to sit here and talk about how bad men are in society and this, that, and the third. Women, y'all are the ones that's creating these guys. But look, man, do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Till the next one.